Hey everyone, and welcome to our preview of Outriders Worldslayer, the exciting upcoming paid expansion to the hit RPG looter shooter Outriders that released back in April of 2021. Over the past year, Outriders has become more stable with plenty of bug fixes and the New Horizon update, which introduced some new content and changes to some legendary items and their endgame expeditions to make them more open to all kinds of players. If you recall, back in May of 2021, Square Enix released a press announcement touting the popularity of Outriders, stating that Outriders is on track to become the company's next major franchise, and that they look forward to expanding Outriders in the future. Now, with Worldslayer on the way, they are living up to those statements. So let's jump into what's new in Outriders Worldslayer and take a look at my early mission gameplay from the Worldslayer preview event I attended late last month. So here's a few quick notes that you'll need to know before we get started. Outriders Worldslayer is a paid expansion. While the original game will still be available on Xbox Game Pass, Worldslayer will not be part of Game Pass, so you'll need to purchase the expansion, which will also give you access to the legacy game as well. To get us started, I don't want to spoil much of the story of Outriders for those who haven't had the chance to play through the initial campaign, so without going into too many details, the anomaly that has mutated creatures and humans alike on Enoch has grown, and it's getting more intense.
I didn't believe it, but the anomaly, it's growing.
That means that the drop pods that the Outriders have been collecting over the past year may not be worth anything if the anomaly isn't stopped. Cue the new campaign! So now that we have what sparks the new story out of the way, let's talk about what's new in Outriders Worldslayer. For starters, new gear and weapons are headed our way. Each of the 4 classes will get 2 new 5-piece legendary armor sets and new 3-piece legendary armor sets that are universal and can be used by any class. There will be new mods and also apocalypse gear variants of your gear, which will allow players to have a 3rd mod slot. The 3rd mod slot can't be edited, but it will give players another chance to find exciting gear pieces and create new powerful builds. As for the Apocalypse gear, you earn this gear by playing on higher Apocalypse tiers. Apocalypse tiers work similarly to the World tiers of the Legacy game, but there is a main difference here. In the original game, World tier and Expedition tiers were separate. Apocalypse tiers encompass everything that you're playing. So if you're playing the campaign on Apocalypse tier 20, you'll be playing Expeditions on Apocalypse tier 20. You also have the option to go back to using just World tiers and Expedition tiers in the vanilla version of Outriders, but chances are you'll probably want to increase your Apocalypse tiers so you can obtain and increase your gear to the max level, which is 75, which you can reach by getting to Apocalypse tier 40. If you're new to Outriders and you don't want to wait to get to the good stuff, you're in luck too, because Worldslayer will grant players new and old an automatic level 30 boost. Instead of grinding up like some lowly peasant altered, you can jump directly to level 30 like a boss and join your friends in the new content right away. The boost will be available no matter how many characters you create. It's not just a single-use boost. Also, players will get to progress their character in different ways. Right now, players have a choice of 1 skill tree with 3 separate paths for each class. In Worldslayer, players will have a new PAX class tree that they will be able to spec points into to further differentiate their class. The team at People Can Fly believe that PAX trees can completely change the way your class plays, but players will also earn ascension points, which will provide a much longer path with 4 nodes, each with 5 additional options to spec into, and they'll increase your stats such as your health, armor, weapon damage, armor penetration, crit rate, and plenty of other stats that will buff your character. Players will earn ascension points no matter what they end up doing. The ascension points are character bound and can be reset whenever you want, though players will also be able to earn the full 200 ascension points per character, which will max out everything in all nodes. The developers believe it will take somewhere along the lines of about 360 hours of playing to obtain all 200 ascension points. As for Endgame, there will be a completely new mode for Endgame called the Trial of Tarya Gratar. Unfortunately, there's not much the developers could tell us about this new endgame system. Could it be a raid? Is there something that's going to require more players? I guess we'll find out soon enough, because Worldslayer is set to release on June 30th of this year. So if you're excited for the new expansion, you don't have to wait too much longer. And that's about it. Are you guys excited for Worldslayer? Are you guys ready for Worldslayer? Hit us up in the comments and let us know. And head over to MMORPG.com through the link in the description for an article with some quotes from the People Can Fly team and more on Outriders Worldslayer. We'll see you next time.